This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, a new segment where I highlight current and former Flathead Valley area players, coaches, and sports figures celebrating the best athletics our valley has to offer. The Flathead Valley Sports Haven is powered by Logan Health, and today's guest is Austin Andrachick, a former Columbia Falls athlete and Flathead Valley baseball player. We talk growing up in the valley, high school sports, his baseball journey, and what it means to come from this area. So let's go ahead and get into it. Austin, first and foremost, thanks for joining me here today.
Oh, of course.
Well, let's go ahead and start off with, before we get into just kind of your journey, what does life look for you like these days?
I'm just working. There's nothing too special anymore. Just kind of a regular guy now.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, just living the life, trying to figure out what I want to be now that I'm done with the baseball.
Well, do people still kind of bring up baseball when they see you? Is that kind of how a lot of people seem to recognize you?
Here and there, not really. I'm trying to make it. The hard part is it becomes like an identity in a way, and you try and figure out how to get away from that once baseball's over, which I just kind of completely, my first summer off, I just took no baseball around. I need to figure out what I want to do, and that helped a lot, but yeah.
I love it. So how much do you still follow sports around here in the valley?
I'm starting to look into the high school stuff a little bit here and there, but not crazy amounts. I mean, I'll help out with the Twins here and there whenever Coach Brown asks me to, or somebody down there asks me to. I went and helped him put up a fence the other week. Whenever someone asks, I'll help, but I don't really keep up with anything.
So what was it like to grow up in Sioux Falls? What does it mean to be from the valley?
Well, for me, I always thought of it as a disadvantage compared to other kids who got to be in places where not only did they get to play baseball year-round or just be outside and year-round. I'm not a huge winter person. I don't do the skiing and snowboarding and stuff. But I like to be outside when it's warm out, I like nice weather. But it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful place on earth is how I explain it to everyone. But I always thought of it as a disadvantage just because not only that, but it's just such a small pool of people that, not that there isn't talent here, but it's just such a small pool of it, bigger places aren't more talented. They just have a bigger pool of it, and percentage-wise, they just have more people, that's not... I always thought of it more of as a disadvantage. When you start, especially at school and college, when you start going through rosters, you're not going to find very many Montanas or just in general. I remember scrolling through and be like, oh, that's cool. It's like a Billings, Montana.
That's got to make you feel cool, though, that when people, we'll get into this later, but when people go to search rosters and you're on a roster and it says Montana, that's got to be pretty prideful, too, though.
No, it is, for sure. No, whenever, I always thought of it as a cool thing being the Montana kid. Everywhere I went, I was always the Montana kid, so I always enjoyed that part of it.
Well, you and I both know that Columbia Falls has a pretty rich sports history. So what was it like to be a part of that sports culture in Columbia Falls? I know you primarily played baseball, but to be around it had to be pretty nice to be around that kind of culture, right?
No, it was. They love their sports, like football, wrestling. They love anything like that. Just everyone there in general. I just remember that growing up, how much they loved it. Even with the Twins, I remember in 2018 when we won regionals, congratulations. All the teachers knew, it was congratulations. They didn't do a huge thing, a huge ceremony like they usually do, but because it's not a school sport, but they were still stoked about it. It was still a cool thing to them.
So you identified with baseball probably the most, especially once you got to high school. Maybe when did you realize baseball was the sport for you?
I'd say when I was 14 years old.
8th grade-ish, right around there?
Yeah, when I was 14, that was when it finally hit me where I was like, oh, maybe I'm not half bad at this, or maybe I could figure something out with it. Because I ended up have a really good 14U year, just compared to how I was in the past. It was just maybe I just hit a growth spurt or figured out how to move better. But that was when it really hit me. I'm like, oh, I should just do baseball, because then I can be so much ahead of everyone with in the winters when they're all playing basketball and stuff, I could be swinging and stuff like that, you know?
So let's go ahead and just keep right on that track. And so when did you realize that you could play baseball beyond high school?
When I was 17, Forrest Cobalt, he was on his super senior year. He returned back from St. Olaf, and I remember I got done catching him after a game. And he told me that I would be good enough to start at his college at catcher, and that's when it kind of hit me. I'm like, maybe I could play in college. And then my senior year rolls around. Me and my best friend, Peyton Davidson, we were trying to find schools. We were sending emails off. And then Ryan Veneman was our pitching coach that year for the 2020 year. And he was playing at Lake Region State College. And then he just literally just said, hey, you guys want to come play with us? Sent an email or sent a text to the coach, said, hey, I got 2 big lefties for you. And then took us both in, like as a preferred walk-on. And then there was another Glacier Twins kid there. There was James Sampson was there too. So it was all 4 of us. There was 4 Twins kids on the same team, which was kind of cool. In which it was the 3, 4, 5, and 6 stick were all Glacier Twins.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, before we get more into that recruiting process, because I really want to get your thoughts on that, let's go into the Twins a little bit, because you played for him for, 3, maybe 4 years. What did it mean to play for the Twins? How did that kind of shape who you became as a person?
Well, it was probably the best time of my life was with the Twins, I'd say. College was fun, but just the way the Twins just, create this, family. It becomes more of a family with the Twins than anything. More so than I felt with any other, team, anything. It's just the way that you're around everyone all day, every day. It meant a lot. It was probably the most important times of my life where with the Twins and just the way I got to develop as not just a player, just a person.
And talk to me about, because obviously with the Twins, it's a formation of primarily Columbia Falls and Whitefish players. Obviously, you know the rivalry and everything. Did you feel like, though, when you played for the Twins, that rivalry was able to be put to the side and you guys and the Whitefish kids were able to mesh?
Yes, 100%. It was never, it'd be brought up jokingly. It would be oh, we beat you in basketball this year, but it was never it meshed actually really well, which was surprising to a lot of people.
Talk to me about what was able to bring, because it even goes back to the SEPA Johns Rood for every year honoring, obviously, those 2 young men. It feels like when you know that history and everything, it's easier to come together. Do you feel like that's true?
Yeah, I feel like that's true. But the way that we did it, we had Babe Ruth, which was 13 to 15, and that's when they started putting us together.
Gotcha.
So you were already playing together for 3 years before you even got there, and then by that time, you're teammates.
Gotcha. That makes more sense. You already had that camaraderie before you were on the Twins.
Yes.
So take me through, maybe you don't know the answer to this, but what do people maybe not understand about summer baseball in Montana?
Summer baseball from a college aspect, when you're getting recruited for college recruiting, it's the most important time. So what the high school baseball is awesome. Now you're going to have high school stats, but it's spring. College plays in the spring. We're not going to be recruiting while we're playing. You know what I mean? Type thing. For the most part. The really, really good ones are, but the really, really good ones, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're going to get picked up. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Gotcha. How about give me a favorite Glacier Twins memory?
I got to think of this one. It's so many years ago.
It doesn't even have to be a game. It could be a bus ride. It could be a hotel stay. It could be a specific moment.
My favorite moment I remember, and I remember it so vividly, was there was a kid named Jack Price. He loved his hammocks, loves hammocks, right? And he decided to hang one in his hotel room on one of the fire escape things. It ends up popping out the thing, flooding the whole 3rd floor, 2nd floor, destroying a hotel. ruining everything just because he wanted to hang a hammock.
I think I remember that story. I think my brother told me about that. That's funny.
No, I remember being there. And I remember I was in the bathroom and then the fire alarm starts going off. I'm like, oh no, I thought someone was like doing something in the room they shouldn't have or something like that. And then I get out and it's like, no, someone was really doing something they shouldn't have been doing.
Nobody was trying to hang a hammock to relax.
Yeah.
That's great. How about let's go back to the recruiting process now. You played for the Twins for several years, and you already talked about how you knew you wanted to go on to the next level. So what was that recruiting process like? You already talked about how Montana has a smaller pool to select from. So take me through, what was it like for you? Give me kind of the ins and outs of what that process.
So for me, I didn't have a ton of college, like out of high school, I didn't have a ton of like college offers or anything like that. I was a chunky left-handed hitting catcher at that time. So the offers didn't just fly out. So I had to do it all myself, which if you want to play college baseball, you're going to be doing a lot yourself. As much as you want to have help from coaches and stuff, it's primarily on yourself, to be honest. So I was sending emails out, and then I ended up learning about Dawson Community College. Mm-hmm. So I originally got in touch with their coach at the time, which was Phil McClure, my senior year of high school. We were good to go there. Me and my buddy Peyton, we were going to go preferred walk-on down there. And then COVID happens, season happens, Phil loses his job. And then we're still going to go there because we still were like, I want to play baseball like really bad. So that was our only like option at the time. And then our pitching coach, Ryan, says, you should just come to Lake Region with me. So we thought about it. We talked about it, looked into the school, applied, got accepted. And then I ended up going there with three other Glacier Twins kids and had a great time doing it.
You know, and you had to do all this through COVID. You played during the 2020 COVID year. You played college baseball the year after. How much maybe more difficult was it during that year? Or did playing during COVID make things easier, do you think?
It made it so much harder because first off, there's no just college recruiters at any games because no one's at any games. You're not allowed to be at games during COVID. So your choice, and everyone knew that their guys were coming back. That was the other hard part, is everyone's getting those third-year guys back. Actually, when I got to college, it was really hard because I was there, and then I was just young, 18, 19, and there's 21, 22-year-old third years there in junior college, which is, they're grown men, and I'm still I'm still kind of developing. They're grown men, which was it was a weird experience having teammates like that, but it was also, you grew up really fast with that because everyone around you is 23, 22, so you kind of want to be like them, and then it kind of made you grow up pretty quick.
So, I mean, there's a plus and there's a positive and a negative to that, right? The positive is you get to learn the game, you get to go on the fly. The negative is, you have to, all of a sudden, you go from being an 18-year-old kid to an 18-year-old adult, right?
Yeah, right. And, no, so I preferred walk-on there. And then I remember this so vividly. We take our first batting practice, and it was just like soft toss or something. And then after that, the next day I woke up, and there was a scholarship in my tuition, and I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. And one thing that you said even before we started talking is that you were able to carve out a role on a roster because you just made it impossible to not have a coach put you in the lineup. What did you do to make sure or to ensure that you were in a lineup day in and day out?
First off, I play 8 out of 9 positions. I had to start at every position in college. Besides pitcher, I don't pitch. But that helps a lot. I'm a lefty that goes the other way really well. I hit the other way very well. And I'm really hard to strike out. So I don't need the highest average. I'm getting on base a ton, and I don't skate or get out of the way when it's like a hit by pitch. I remember I broke my arm my junior year because of it. And no, you kind of you got to be a derp. You got to grind. But if you just listen to the coach and do everything he says, you will find yourself in a lineup. Like, it is not that hard in that sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I got you. And then you already kind of touched on this, but how much tougher is it for a small town athlete to have maybe that kind of mentality going into college? You already talked about how, well, the talent level is here in the Valley. It's a lot smaller. So how much more do you have to fight? How much more do you have to have a strong mental landscape going into that next level?
So for junior college, let's put it this way. For junior college, kind of. It's gonna be kind of a little bit of a grind. You're probably gonna be grinding against one guy. Like, you got to beat out one dude, which is maybe this might be the first time you've ever had to do that in your life, though. Which for the small town, big fish, little pond type thing, it could. I think that affects a lot of kids when they go off to college for the first time and they actually, coach puts some competition on them. Like, I don't know who's gonna play. You know, like I don't fight for who's gonna do it, and I think that messes with a lot of kids. That's junior college, but then 4-year. I remember my 4-year had 115 kids.
Oh.
Yeah, 115 on the baseball roster. So we had like cuts, we had two VRs, we had, so it was really tough to get noticed there. Luckily,
you're battling against what, 6, 7, 8 different kids for one spot.
Yeah, like I think there was 20 catchers when I showed up.
Ooh.
And I ended up getting into the varsity because I hit really well. And then they were like, I'll get on to that later.
At the same time, though, obviously there's great talent here in Montana. You look from here down to Billings, there's some really good talent. Do you feel like Montana kids get overlooked at the same time?
Yes, to an extent. I don't know about as overlooked as they're just not competing they're not competing against what the other kids are competing against every single day. It is harder when you're watching a kid and he's hitting against 86, 87 every day compared to you come here and maybe the kid faces 86 twice that year. You know, it's a little different.
So it's not necessarily overlooked, but it's maybe just in some of those bigger areas like California, Washington. You already touched it. There's just more of it.
It's just easier to pick them up. It's easier to see them when they need to see them, you know? If they come and watch a guy and he's facing 74 and the guy hits a bomb, it's like, cool, the guy was throwing 74, though. You know, it's like that type of thing compared to you can go down there and you can watch him throwing hard every other game, or there's a hard thrower in there or something like that.
So how much different is baseball when you go from, say, Legion to JUCO, and then you go from JUCO to a 4-year? What's the hardest jump? What's the hardest adjustment to make? Is it the speed of the pitching?
No, the speed you get on the speed. You figure out the speed if you're a hitter. It's when balls start moving. That's what it really is. It's honestly from Legion to JUCO, those changeups started actually becoming changeups. That was the big jump from Legion to JUCO. But 4-year, those kids are 23 developed grown men. Like, they're throwing. A lot of times, there's not a lot of starters that throw probably under 88, 90.
They're throwing gas, but they also have an 85-mile-per-hour curveball that goes 11 to 5 and breaks a foot long.
Yeah, and then you get the changeups in there that look like fastballs the whole time, and then all of a sudden you swing as hard as you could, and you're on one knee, and just got some Puerto Rican kid in the dugout yelling at you in some language you've never heard. You're like, what is going on? No, that was the thing. That was also the other thing with NAIA is there's a lot of internationals because you can play pro ball internationally, and then it only takes a year away from your eligibility in NAIA. So we'd get the Japanese kids. So like my lineup, my junior year, like I think I was one of 2 Americans. Like the rest were, I think we had like 4 Japanese kids, a Spaniard. It's just all internationals in that league.
You know, I want to ask you about the change of movement, the pitching and everything, because one of the reasons I had to stop playing baseball was I could not pick up a curveball to save my life. How do you, obviously as time goes by, you pick up pitcher tendencies and everything, but how do you pick up a curveball, you specifically? How do you pick up a changeup? What do you look for? What maybe helps you identify those pitches?
Just a good approach is kind of the big thing. You kind of have to have a staunch approach on it. A lot of times, I can't even explain how I do it. I don't know. If the ball's curving, I don't know. I just hit it while it's curving. I'm just kidding.
Or is there a pitch that you looked for and you weren't swinging unless you got that pitch?
Well, 0-0, if it's a fastball, I'm swinging as hard as I can. But that also messes me up because if it's a changeup, 0-0, now I'm on one knee, like I was just saying.
But that's where you're studying. That's where your film comes in. That's where you have to pick up on pitcher tendencies. Like, I know this guy throws a first pitch fastball, or I know this guy throws a changeup the first pitch.
Which we did in 4-year. We'd do hitter meetings, which we'd go for, I think it was like the night before at like 7 o'clock. We'd go and have a pitcher's meeting on the projector where we watch all the pitchers. But there's only so much film shows compared to when you get in there. Like, I remember there was a submariner, and the coaches somebody says they're like 76. But I remember, like, facing him, and it was just the weirdest. Like, there was nothing film could show me that this guy, like, it was just weird. Like, it was just.
That's why, like, seeing the same pitcher over and over helps, right?
Oh, so much. So much. That's the hard part with college is you're just new guy.
And you're probably seeing, I mean, being from Montana, you don't grow up seeing a lot of lefties. You go off and you're in, I don't care what level of college you're probably seeing 10 times more lefties than you've ever seen in your life.
Yes. I lucked out, and I didn't play when lefties pitched. I can't hit a lefty to save it. I can hit it like a slow throwing lefty, but like once I got out of Montana, I realized I can't hit a lefty. Like when they're throwing 90 and have a slider, the slider.
It's breaking away from you.
Dude, it's so weird. It's like, you can do that? That's weird. Or another weird thing I noticed was the two seams would start at my front hip and then they'd go in, and then you just look stupid and you're just like, oh.
You know, it's funny because right-handed hitters typically hit lefties better. I was a right-handed hitter, and because in Montana we never faced left-handed pitching, I struggled against lefties. I always much rather face a righty. That's got to be the same for you, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I mean, but you were a left-handed hitter too,
yeah,
though, right?
I was a left-handed hitter, but so it was easy for me. There's a huge advantage I actually had going into college because couldn't hit lefties, but I'm lefty, so I have the excuse I can't hit lefties.
How about obviously being from Montana, we've gone into just the talent pool and everything. So when you go off to college and you're from Montana, do you maybe carry a chip on your shoulder? Obviously, I know you have the pride being from the state, but does that maybe give you a little extra, like, people are probably not expecting much from me?
No. Like I said, when I got to college, there's 4 Glacier Twins kids already there. 2 of them already been there a year, and there was James Sampson and Ryan Veneman, 2 very, very talented ball players. Mm-hmm. So there was no, like, these kids are going to be bad. Like, it was like, cool, we got 2 more Glacier Twins kids like Ryan and James, more so.
What about when you went to the next level after that?
No, they all thought it was cool I was from Montana, but they all looked like they seen me from JUCO, and then my summer league. I ended up having a really good summer league down in Palm Springs.
Kind of one of those game recognizes game.
Yeah, so it didn't really matter. I didn't feel judged down there. Mayville, when I was in Mayville, I felt really judged there, being from Montana.
Really? So take me through once again. Where are all the schools that you played for? So
I did 2 years at Lake Region State College.
And where's that at? And take me through where they're from.
So that's in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, the coldest place on earth, I swear to God. There would be days where it was like literally -70, -65. Like you'd read it and you wouldn't believe it. And then you go outside and you're like, oh, maybe. That is cold.
I'm from Whitefish, Montana. I thought that was cold.
No, dude, this is different. Like your hair's freezing when you go outside. And then after that, I ended up, so my coach from my freshman year of junior college ended up signing to Mayville State as like I think he was an assistant coach or a hitting coach or something. But he ended up signing a couple of us on. And once I got there, he was already fired at the time, I guess. Okay. So he gets fired. And then I need to go pay my bill probably like a month in. So I've been practicing, training with the team. About a month in, right past like the deadline to like not have to pay stuff. They still haven't put my tuition waiver in, so I go talk to the coaches, and I'm like, hey, so I got offered a $5,000 like scholarship. Like, where is it? And they ended up saying, like, none of Kyle's offers were void. All of Kyle's offers are voided.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, so I ended up leaving that day or the day after or something like that.
So that was not a good experience.
No,
going there.
that was terrible.
And so then where do you go after that then?
I come home and I'm working at UPS at the time.
Okay.
And I'm sending 3-4 emails a day, copy and paste. Literally copy and pasting the same email to different people, switching it up every other week. I just find something to like think of states, and then I look up NAIAs, D2s, D3s in that area. Then I'm watching Ozarks. Yeah, Ozark on Netflix. So I'm like, oh, Missouri. I'll start looking at Missouri. And then Dennis at Missouri Valley gets back to me immediately. Says, send me video. What's your number? So I send him my number, and then we start talking. How do I get eligible? What do I have to do? All this. And they ended up sending me a bunch of money, which was really cool too, or like offering me a bunch of money. So I ended up taking that immediately, and then was down there the next year.
So how long did you play in Missouri then?
2 years.
2 years? So take me through that experience then.
So that was really nice because it was really warm there. It's a really warm place. I don't know. It's a cool area. The Marshall, Missouri place. It made a lot of good friends there. The ball was mediocre, but at the same time, I got to play. And I wasn't playing ball before that. Like, I literally had nowhere to go.
You were just excited to be on the field.
Yeah, like I remember how many emails I sent. I was so over just being like, yeah, I was happy to be there.
What did being a college baseball athlete, what did playing college baseball teach you about yourself? Because even just hearing you talk about it right now, I can kind of already hear it.
Taught me that I could do a lot. Like, I could do pretty much anything I want.
As long as you set your mind to it?
Yeah, like, I literally can do whatever I want. And, like, I remember my freshman year, I went into college at I got done my freshman year at 250. And then my coach that says I need to lose weight that summer. That was, like, his one, like, thing. And I came back that summer at, like, 170.
Wow.
And then it was weird because then going to 4-year, my coach ended up saying I needed to gain weight, which was the hardest thing I had to do was gain 30 pounds compared to lose almost 100, which is really weird, but all athletes will agree gaining weight is tough. Like, that is, it's brutal. But anything I want to do, I can do pretty much, I think.
You know, it's cool. I've had a lot of Flathead Valley players, coaches, to highlight you guys and everything. And just about every single kid, whether it's a Kyler Blades, a Mac Roach, a Lee Walburn, heck, a Patrick O'Connell who just won a Super Bowl. Your story kind of mimics theirs in the sense of being from the Flathead Valley. Almost, it raises you different. It gives you a perseverance. It gives you a toughness. It gives you a never say die kind of attitude. And it feels like being from here really has helped shape you in that sense.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot you got to deal with just being from here. Like, you got to deal with the harsh winters. I don't know.
No, yeah, but it just seems like, do you feel like if you were born and raised in a California, if you were born and raised in a Washington, a Texas, a Florida, you probably wouldn't be the same person you are now?
No, I wouldn't be. No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, the Flathead Valley it raises you in that way, right? It raises you to see kind of that bigger picture.
No, it does. I agree with that.
So, here's a good one I got for you, because you've played with a lot of athletes. You've seen a lot of athletes come and go. Give me some athletes maybe that are from this area that you've looked up to that maybe deserve some of that recognition.
A big one for me would be James Sampson, who I said. I remember there was a year I had off where it was Mayville to Missouri Valley. He threw me batting practice like 3-4 times a week. Like, whenever after work, whenever I asked, like, he was always, and he'd help me with my swing because he was a very talented ball player. He just had injuries and he got old with COVID and everything. But he he's a big one I looked up to. Ryan Vanneman would be another one I looked up to a lot. He'd be the same type of thing. I caught him in college. Like, he was we were a battery together. Those would be the two big ones, I'd say.
That's awesome. How about what's special about sports culture here? You've kind of already touched on it quite a bit, but what makes the sports culture here in the Valley special?
It's just you become like a family. It's not as much of a competition as once you get out onto that next level where you're trying to beat someone out. It's more of a family type thing. Everyone knows their place type thing.
Everyone has everyone's back here.
Everyone, and they still do. Like even years and years and years later, like there's that 2018 Twins team. I could text anybody on that team still, just like I'm buddies, like any of my Twins teams, to be honest with you.
And you already kind of touched on this too, but can Valley athletes compete with anybody? Because you've kind of already proven that that's true.
Oh, for sure. But they have to set themselves up to do so, if that makes sense.
Yep.
You can't be signing on to these or trying to walk onto a place where you're not, that's bigger than you. You know what I mean? Like, anyone could go watch baseball or watch a sport, but you got to go to a college where you can play. Like, that's a big thing I've always preached, is you need to find somewhere where you're going to be able to you're going to be in a place where you can play, where you can set yourself up to play. That's a big thing.
Go where you're wanted, right?
Yes.
Because the coaches there's turnover all the time. They're going to go different routes. Go where instinctively you feel like this is the right fit. Not necessarily where your dream school is, but where, hey, I know I'm going to be treated right.
Yes, that's a big thing. And another big thing I notice is if on day one they don't know your name, start looking to transfer portal. Like, that's a big thing, because that's one thing I notice. If you show up day one and they know your name, you're in a good place. Like, Mayville, they didn't know my name. But in Missouri Valley, I remember I showed up, Dennis goes, Andrachick, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. He knows my name. There's 115 kids here, and he knows my name.
It's amazing what just something small. I mean, I know that's not small, but in the grand scheme of things, it is what that can do.
No, like, and that'd be the first thing I always tell kids is like, hey, did the coach know your name? Like, day one. Like, that's a big thing.
All right. Well, I got some spitfire questions for you. But before we get to that, I got one last one on this subject is if you were talking to a 14, a 15, a 16-year-old who wanted to play at the next level, what would be your – and when I say next level, I don't mean just college, but maybe making a varsity roster type of thing. What would be your biggest piece of advice for someone trying to just jump up to that next level, whether it's varsity, Legion, JUCO, four-year college, whatever it may be?
Don't put so much pressure on yourself that you end up pressing yourself into a hole where you're not as good as you can be. Don't put that pressure on yourself. I know there's been points in my life where I definitely have pressed, where it's like I just put so much pressure on myself that it makes the situation feel bigger than it is, when it's make every situation feel small. That's my thing, is especially if it's baseball related, simplicity is the best. Like, make everything as simple as you can. You're hitting a bat with a ball. Like, don't overcomplicate the simple things in life.
I love that. No, that's perfect. All right, I got some spitfire questions I want to go with you. I just want you to give me first thing that pops into your head, okay? So let's go best teammate.
Jack.
Okay, let's go toughest pitcher you've ever faced.
Tanner.
Let's go best road trip.
Ooh. Missoula.
All right, let's go favorite field you've ever played on.
Conrad Complex softball fields.
Let's go favorite rivalry game.
2020, we finally beat the Lakers AA when I was a Twin.
Let's go funniest coach.
Slaybaugh.
Let's go here's a good one. How about let's go favorite baseball movie?
Major League.
And then the best baseball movie.
Major League 2.
How about, in your opinion, who's one of the best athletes to ever come out of the Valley? And we'll keep it with baseball because that's what the theme has been. Best baseball player, in your opinion, that's ever came out of the Valley.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And there's been a lot.
Yeah. Let's go Zach Veneman to make him happy.
All right, there we go. I'll give you a name that Joe Pistorisi, if you remember that name.
Yeah.
I played against him. That was...
Well, it's probably one of those guys.
Yeah.
I never.
You got to choose someone that you...
Yeah, I never got to see those guys.
All right, how about last question then, finale here. What do you hope people remember about athletes from your era?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Athletes from my era.
Or that team that you played for. Maybe what's something you hope people remember?
How much fun we always had.
There we go. I love that. Perfect. That's about all I got for you. Thanks for coming on today. Thanks for sharing your story. It was a blast to talk so much baseball with you.
No, I had a good time and got to talk this much baseball in a while.
Awesome. Well, in the future, we'll get you back on again. But in the meantime, enjoy being back in the Valley. Don't take it for granted. Have some fun. And good luck with the next step in life for you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.